Do you know a man can make you feel chosen without ever choosing you? He'll say the right things, plan the right moments, mirror your softness back to you perfectly, but real intention isn't in words, it's in consistency. It's in what happens after he gets your trust. And the reason why it's always after he gets your trust is because that's when the performance becomes too costly to maintain. See, once he believes he has your emotional investment, he stops managing his image and starts operating from his authentic level of interest, revealing through his sustained behavior whether his early intensity was genuine care or just the effort required to secure your attention and access. This is the painful truth that most women learn too late. The version of him you met might have been completely genuine in that moment, but it wasn't sustainable if it was built on performance rather than authentic feeling. Real intention reveals itself not in the pursuit phase, but in the maintenance phase. The pursuit is easy. Any man can be charming, attentive, and consistent when he's working toward a goal. But what happens when he has your trust, when he believes you're invested, when the chase is over and the relationship becomes real? That's when you see truth. That's when the mask either stays on because it was never a mask, or it slips because it was always performance. That's why understanding how to unmask his true intentions isn't about being cynical or suspicious. It's about being observant and wise. Hi, I'm Gabriel Hart from My Daily Love, and in this video, we'll talk about 5 powerful ways to unmask a man's true intentions with you. And once you understand these techniques, you'll not only be able to protect yourself from time wasters and emotional manipulators, but you'll also be able to recognize and reward men whose consistency proves their words are backed by genuine intention. Number 1. Watch what he does when you stop making it easy. The most revealing test of a man's true intentions is observing what happens when you stop making it easy. Because any man can be kind when you're giving, flexible, and available, but the truth comes out when you stop overextending, and if his consistency dies the moment your energy stops feeding him, you've seen his real intention, since love doesn't fade when it's not catered to. Attention does. Think of this like removing training wheels. When you're doing all the work, always available, always flexible, always accommodating, always initiating, you're essentially holding up the relationship with your effort. But what happens when you stop holding it up? Does it stand on its own, or does it fall? When you stop overextending, you create space to see his natural level of investment. Stop always being the one to text first. Stop always being available when he wants to see you. Stop always being flexible with your schedule to accommodate his. Stop always being understanding when he's inconsistent. This isn't about playing games or being difficult. It's about returning to a balanced level of effort where you're not doing more than your share and observing whether he steps up to meet you halfway, or whether his interest evaporates when it requires actual work from him. Men with genuine intentions will notice the shift and naturally increase their effort to maintain the connection. They want to see you, so they'll plan. They enjoy talking to you, so they'll initiate. They value your time, so they'll work around your schedule. The relationship continues because both people are invested. But men who were only enjoying the benefits of your overextension will drift away when those benefits disappear. If his consistency dies the moment your energy stops feeding him, you've seen the truth. He was never in love with you. He was comfortable with your effort. Number 2. Watch how he handles no. Here's what most women don't realize about unmasking intentions. The fastest way to see a man's truth is to disappoint him, even a little, by setting a boundary, saying no or pulling back, because a man who respects you will adapt, while a man who's performing will shift tone immediately, revealing that if his charm disappears the second he can't get what he wants, you were never being loved. You were being managed. Think of boundaries like a litmus test. They reveal the pH of his intentions, whether his interest is genuinely about you as a person or whether it's about maintaining access to what you provide. Set a boundary, say no to something he wants. Pull back when he's expecting you to lean in. Watch what happens. Not just what he says, but how his entire energy shifts. A man with genuine intentions will be momentarily disappointed, but will respect your boundary. He might ask questions to understand your perspective. He might express that he wishes things were different, but he adapts. He adjusts. He maintains his warmth and care for you even though he didn't get what he wanted in that moment. But a man who's performing, who's been managing your perception of him to maintain access, will shift tone immediately. The warmth disappears. The charm turns off. He might become cold, distant, or subtly punishing. Or he might try to convince, pressure, or manipulate you into changing your no to a yes. If his kindness is conditional on your compliance, you were never being loved. You were being managed. His care was strategic, designed to keep you giving him what he wants, and the moment you stop giving it, the care evaporates because it was never real. This pattern reveals itself in countless small moments, when you can't make plans because you have other commitments, when you say you're not ready for something physical, when you express that you need more consistency or clarity, when you prioritize your own needs over his convenience. Quality men take these moments in stride. They might be disappointed, but they respect your autonomy and maintain their investment in you as a person. Low-quality men reveal themselves by becoming less interested the moment you're not endlessly accommodating. Number 3. Watch his effort when you're not impressive. While everyone shows up well during the impressive moments, real intention is proven in ordinariness. Because early on, we're all on our best behavior. Charming, attractive, interesting. But connection isn't proven in excitement. It's proven in how he treats you when you're tired, emotional, or quiet. And if he only loves the version of you that glows, he doesn't love you. He loves the reflection of himself in your light. Think of this like the difference between someone who loves a perfectly staged photo and someone who loves the person behind the camera. One is in love with an image. The other is in love with a human. In the beginning, you're naturally presenting your best self, your most charming, most attractive, most interesting version. And he's responding to that version with enthusiasm and effort. But what happens when that version isn't available? Watch how he treats you when you're tired after a long week, when you're emotional about something that matters to you, when you're quiet and not performing entertaining conversation, when you're struggling with something, when you're not at your physical or emotional best. Men with genuine intentions don't need you to be impressive to maintain their care. They find your humanity endearing. They're drawn to your authentic self, including the parts that are tired, uncertain, or emotionally complex. They see your quieter moments as opportunities for deeper connection rather than as disappointments. But men who are attracted to your performance rather than your person will show decreased interest when you're not constantly glowing. They'll become less attentive, less engaged, less present. They might even become critical or suggest you're not yourself. If he only loves the version of you that glows, that's always put together, always charming, always entertaining, always accommodating, then he doesn't love you. He loves what you do for his ego, for his image, for his entertainment. He loves the reflection of himself in your light. This is why the most telling moments in a relationship aren't the exciting dates or passionate conversations. They're the ordinary Tuesday evenings when you're both tired. The moments when you're not at your best, but he's still present, caring and engaged with you. Number 4, watch what he does with your vulnerability. What if the clearest window into his intentions is observing what happens when you open up, not dramatically but honestly, because men with real intentions protect your softness while men hiding theirs retreat from it, and if your emotions make him uncomfortable, it's not because you're too much, it's because he's too disconnected. Think of vulnerability like revealing the soft parts of yourself that could be hurt. A man's response to that revelation tells you everything about his capacity for real intimacy and partnership. When you open up, sharing fears, expressing needs, showing emotion, revealing insecurities, does he move closer or grow distant? Does he ask questions to understand you better, or does he shut down and become unavailable? Men with real intentions protect your softness. They see your vulnerability as trust, as connection, as the pathway to deeper intimacy. They respond with care, with curiosity, with efforts to understand and support you. Your emotional honesty makes them want to be closer to you. But men who are hiding their own emotional unavailability will retreat from your vulnerability. Your emotions make them uncomfortable because they're not capable of meeting you in that emotional space. They'll minimize your feelings, try to immediately fix them so you stop expressing them, or create distance until you return to being easy again. If your emotions make him uncomfortable, it's not because you're too much. You're not too sensitive, too needy, or too emotional. It's because he's too disconnected from his own emotional world to be able to handle yours. This reveals itself most clearly in how he handles conflict, disappointment, or your need for support. Does he stay present and engaged, or does he shut down and withdraw? Does he show curiosity about understanding you, or does he show frustration that you're not easier to manage? The man who can't handle your vulnerability will never be able to give you real partnership, because partnership requires the ability to be emotionally present, even when things aren't easy, perfect, or comfortable. So how do you know whether his reaction to your vulnerability reveals potential or danger? Because not every man who hesitates when faced with emotion is emotionally unavailable. Some are just learning how to handle depth. And not every man who seems calm in the face of your feelings is actually safe. Some have just mastered emotional detachment. The real question is whether his response to your openness creates movement toward deeper understanding or reinforces emotional distance, because that difference determines whether you're building intimacy or just exposing your heart to someone who can't meet you there. That's why understanding how to test his capacity for emotional intimacy through calibrated vulnerability, sharing enough to see his response without oversharing before he's earned that level of trust, is crucial, because this reveals whether you're dealing with someone capable of real partnership or someone who only wants the easy, surface-level version of you. The difference between women who successfully identify men capable of handling vulnerability and those who either scare away good men or stay with emotionally unavailable ones often comes down to specific vulnerability testing techniques that reveal true capacity without creating unnecessary pressure. Comment intention, and I'll reveal the 3 ways to test his emotional capacity through strategic vulnerability that shows you his true intentions versus the 3 vulnerability approaches that either overwhelm potentially good men or fail to reveal emotionally unavailable ones, and the exact timeline for when emotional intimacy should naturally deepen if he's genuinely interested. Number 5. Watch his pattern, not his promise. The final and most reliable way to unmask true intentions is understanding that every man tells you who he is. Some just use time instead of words, because promises are easy while patterns are evidence, and if he keeps doing what hurts you, regardless of how many apologies follow, his intention isn't confusion. It's comfort, since he's comfortable with your forgiveness, and you don't need to decode him. You just need to believe what he repeats. Think of patterns like someone's native language. They might speak beautiful words in another language, but when they're stressed or distracted, they revert to what comes naturally. His patterns are his native language. His promises are translation attempts. Promises are easy. Any man can apologize beautifully, explain convincingly, and commit to doing better. Words cost nothing. They require no change, no sacrifice, no actual transformation. They're just sounds that temporarily soothe your concerns. But patterns are evidence. Patterns show you what he actually values, what he's actually willing to do, what his authentic priorities actually are. Patterns reveal intention more accurately than any promise ever could. If he keeps doing what hurts you, being inconsistent, being unavailable, being dismissive, being selfish, being dishonest, no matter how many apologies follow, his intention isn't confusion. He's not confused about what hurts you. You've told him. He knows. His intention is comfort. He's comfortable with your forgiveness. He's comfortable with the pattern of hurting you, apologizing, then doing it again. He's comfortable because the consequences of his behavior aren't severe enough to motivate actual change. You don't need to decode him. You don't need to understand why he keeps doing what he does. You don't need to figure out if it's his childhood, his ex, his attachment style, his fear, his confusion. You just need to believe what he repeats. People show you who they are through what they do consistently, not through what they promise occasionally. If the pattern is hurting you and the pattern doesn't change despite multiple conversations and promises, the pattern is his intention. This is perhaps the hardest truth for women to accept because we want to believe in potential, in growth, in the possibility that this time will be different. But potential isn't relevant if it's never actualized. Growth isn't real if behavior doesn't change. This time won't be different if the pattern continues. From what I've seen, the women who protect themselves most effectively are the ones who trust patterns over promises. They give chances, but they also pay attention to whether those chances lead to actual behavioral change or just more elaborate promises. Now, when all is said and done, the real lesson isn't just learning to walk away from men who keep repeating the same patterns. It's learning how to attract the kind of men who don't need to be decoded in the first place. Because once you understand how to read patterns, you stop chasing potential and start embodying the kind of energy that draws emotionally available men toward you effortlessly. You stop trying to convince someone to see your worth and instead become the kind of woman whose presence makes the right man want to rise to meet you. See, unmasking poor intentions protects you from wasting time, but understanding what creates genuine, lasting attraction helps you build relationships with men who are worth your investment in the first place. The truth is, certain styles, energies, and presentations unconsciously trigger deep attraction in quality men in ways that go beyond conscious choice, creating the kind of magnetic pull that makes them want to commit rather than just enjoy casual benefits. Understanding these attraction triggers isn't about manipulation or changing who you are. It's about expressing your authentic femininity in ways that naturally appeal to the masculine, creating chemistry and desire that supports lasting partnership rather than just temporary infatuation. So, if you want to discover the 8 irresistible styles women wear that drive men crazy and why these specific presentations trigger unconscious desire that leads to genuine devotion, then our new video will show you exactly what creates that visceral pull. Please click on the video that's showing on the screen right now, and you'll see what naturally attracts quality men on the deepest psychological and biological level.